it's a winning message. It's so frustrating, I think, it's just so frustrating that like we have to do all this work to support something that's probably really popular to get it through, this system where all these politicians get all their donations from these billionaires, and the billionaires get to spend all this money to fund these campaigns. And here we are, we're having to scrape together. But there are so many people out there who care about the A's. There's a lot more people who care about the A's than listen to this podcast, but we're going to get that message out there on Thursday. I'm really excited about it. I think there's a great chance that A's fans are really going to come together around this, and this could just really snowball into something that that the A's never planned on having to face. Yeah, I'm excited.
And I would say, like, your work has been inspirational. I've never seen a movement out of kind of this question of kind of community ownership of like this private corporation, but kind of public kind of feeling or entity. Like it's kind of very populist, also anti-corporate. Like it's not political, but it is in some
It
ways.
feels like it, yeah.
But I'll say this: you're way cooler than John Fisher. Your struggle is righteous. You know, most billionaires and certainly John Fisher, they will never do anything in their lives with their vast resources as meaningful as what you all have already done. And so I want to win. I'd like to see the A's stay in Oakland. I want to see John Fisher have to sell the team and go away. I didn't want to see him disgraced. I just would like to never think about him again. And that's what I would like to see. But the fight itself has value, and in that way, I think we've already won. But now let's actually go and actually win.
Well, I was going to say,
that's important too.
So where do Nevada students fit into this? I mean, I'm hearing this, but it's like you guys are the Nevada State, Education Association, and do you feel like the focus is ultimately on this cause, or do you feel like you guys are? I mean, I know there's a lot of momentum and there's good feelings, but do you feel like this mission really fully aligns? Just being devil's advocate here, fully aligns with what you guys' mission is as an organization?
Like, it's kind of weird, being mentioned on Sports Center. Typically, we're usually mentioned in Education Week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or something like that.
NPR or something. Yeah.
We're in the local news, but we're almost never in the sports section, right?
Yeah.
So it is different, but I think, let me just put it this way. We go to the legislature every 2 years. Nevada only has biennial legislative sessions. I've been lobbying there for the last 8 years. We have a very big presence in Carson City. This past session was probably our biggest presence. We had a rally in May, and it was mostly our members from the north. We had some folks come up from Vegas, but mostly from Reno and parts in the north. We had 1,000 people at the legislature. I think it was May 15th, calling on the legislature to do more for public education. I think we had a specific ask of an extra $250 million. We had a member of ours who's in the legislature, Selena LaRue Hatch. She gave I think a good speech against SB1, if folks remember that. She had a bill to reduce class sizes in Nevada. We have the largest class sizes of any state in the country. I have members teaching with 45, 48, kids in a class. It's rough.
Yeah. I was reading an article too. There's a lot
Yeah.
of long-term substitutes who just kind of get
It,
wrapped into the full-time gig,
yeah,
right?
yeah. We have thousands of teacher vacancies, so you have long-term subs in those classes. If you're lucky, you'll get a long-term sub, and not a series of short-term subs. But we went into the legislature with this ask. We had 1,000 people there, the largest non-Trump rally in Carson City, in the last decade, and the legislature said they couldn't afford it. They'd already given extra money to schools. Well, yeah, they after they cut all the money during COVID, yeah, they had some extra money they gave back to schools. The following week was when that $500 million bill was dropped, and Fisher and Keval showed up to the legislature and were welcomed with open arms. So we're there with 1,000 teachers and other educators asking for $250 million, more or less, to reduce class sizes. And they said, sorry, maybe next time. And Fisher shows up the next week and they open up. They got creative. They bring in Jeremy Aguero for the record. They get creative and they figure out how to get them that money. And that stung. And so fighting public subsidies for baseball stadiums the core mission of the Nevada State Education Association? No.
Yeah.
Fighting for our members and schools and our students is our core mission. But because of the way it lined up and because of the misplaced priorities of politicians in Carson City, Nevada, then we're fighting this giveaway of public money that could go to the schools. One of their arguments in the beginning is, well, this money wouldn't even go to the schools. Well, yeah, it would revert to the general fund of the state, of which about 40% by formula go to the schools, right? So 380 million wouldn't go to the schools, probably 150 million
That's pretty good. Yeah.
would go to the schools, trickle through the relatively complicated school funding formulas that I'm not going to get into any more than that on this podcast. But probably 150 million, give or take 10 or 15 million, one way or the other, would go to schools if we block this. And that is the mission of the Nevada State Education Association.
Awesome.
Some people watch this on YouTube, some people listen to the podcast, but just sitting here, watching you talk and listening to you talk about that, that frustration, that bringing all those people to Carson City and being told no, I just hear the frustration and I hear the sort of injustice being done there. And I realize I think I don't know, both things are important. I think that funding schools is a lot more important than protecting this Oakland community thing. I don't but whatever. But like I think it makes sense. It makes sense why we're fighting together, man. It makes sense. I think we're both fighting for our communities is what we're doing, and yeah, I we're both fighting for our communities and we're going to do it together, and we can win together. So man, I hope people listening feel that pain that you feel the pain that they feel, and we can unite and get this done, man, because it's what's right. So that's awesome. I'm very excited about Thursday.